Namaskaram, day 7 of the Safe Soil journey. Hope all of you are doing good and continuing with the series which we started. I just thought that today we could continue to speak about how one can get in touch with the earth. So, you must have heard about earthing, and if you have observed that while earthing electrical appliances, you'll see that they'll always wet it. Have you observed that? They'll always keep it wet because it conducts better if it is wet. So the same principle applies with our body as well. If we keep our body wet and if we prostrate on the floor, if we come in touch with the earth, you will see that we'll be able to imbibe this connection with the earth. We'll be able to connect with the earth energetically much better once we are in a state where we are wet. So that is why this you would have observed this, that if you have visited some traditional temples, it is still maintained, especially in South India. I've seen this a lot, and you will see this that most temples, they will always have a pond. They will always have a pond or something, because people had this tradition of first taking a dip in the pond before entering the temple. They would take a dip, and they would come, men, they would either be bare chested, and for women they'll wet their clothes, and when they enter the temple they'll first do this, and they'll take a dip, and then they'll come inside the temple and they'll prostrate. The idea is that they can connect with the earth, and if they are in a wet situation, if they are in a wet state, then they'll be able to conduct better, they'll be able to imbibe this much better. So that is the reason why they always took a dip before entering powerful energetic spaces. So those of you who visited the Isha Yoga Center, you may have come across Tirtha Kunds like the Surya Kund and the Chandra Kund. These are temple ponds which have been consecrated, and it's always suggested that before you enter the Dhyan Linga, which is a meditative shrine over there, one of the temples in the Isha Yoga Center. So before you enter the Dhyan Linga, they suggest that you take a dip in the Tirtha Kund before entering, because it will help you to imbibe what's offered in the Dhyan Linga better. So if you visit the Isha Yoga Center and the temples, you will see that thousands of devotees every day, they just come, they take a dip in one of the temple ponds. So they have two separate ponds, one for the men and one for the women. So they take a dip over there, and then they enter the Dhyan Linga, and you'll also see many of them prostrating. They will they'll do Sashtanga, or they'll just do a full Namaskar, and they will prostrate before they leave the temple. The idea is just this, to imbibe the energies and to get in touch with the earth. So there's a certain intelligence in the earth, and if we are in contact with this, we'll be able to imbibe this better. So if you can do this, if you have any consecrated spaces nearby to your home, if you have some powerfully consecrated temples wherever you're staying, or if you happen to visit a place which is significant energetically, then one of the best ways in which you can imbibe what is being offered over there is to see if you can wet your body and prostrate on the floor, to see if you can get maximum benefit from that place. So please share with us if you have done this, if if you understand the significance of this, and if you have done this when you visit temples, if you have been or if you have observed people doing this and you are wondering why they're doing this, or if you would like to try this whenever you visit a space, you can see if you can next time at least prostrate on the floor and see if you can get in touch with the earth. That's something which is very important. And if you are visiting a temple which has a pond, then don't skip the pond and directly go to the temple. See if you can take a dip, because there's a certain significance in just wetting your body and then going. You will see in many South Indian temples, they don't even allow you unless there's a certain protocol. In many temples I've seen that they will insist that you have to come in a certain way, only then you can enter the temple. Without doing that, they won't allow you to enter the temple. So there are many such places like this. So some of them may have lost their significance, but still some of them are powerfully consecrated. So one can make use of that. So this is just one of the simplest ways in which one can imbibe and connect with the earth element. So please experiment and share with us. Namaskaram.